Nice
Sabina?
to meet you. Sabina.
Sabina.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Sabrina without an R.
Tom, hi. I'm just gonna eat real quick. I don't have to be right with you.
Wash your hands.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you, starting before all of this, can you just tell me how you guys got together? I mean, I know Red Hot Chili Peppers, like, growing up. I grew up in Europe, so...
We're in Europe.
Sweden, yeah. So just before everything, just briefly, just...
Like, what point did we connect as human beings before we started the band?
Yeah.
Well, I was 15 years old, and I just started at Fairfax High School, and I had a guy called Tony Scher in a headlock, and I had him in a headlock, and I was doing that thing where you grind your knuckles against the guy's head. It's really not a friendly thing to do. And I had him, and all of a sudden this mean-looking guy came up to me, and it was this was like in 1977, where everybody had like long feathered hair and bell-bottoms and Lacoste shirts and was into Zeppelin. This guy had like a buzz cut, real short hair, and he was just said, "Lay off him," and that was Anthony, and he was sticking up for this kid, and that was when I first met him. And then we had a class together of driver's education, and the teacher said, I was sitting next to Anthony, and we just kind of talked a little bit. I just met him that day, and the teacher said, if anybody is caught writing on their desk, they will be expelled, they will get a fail, it will be over for them, that I will not tolerate any writing on the desk. And then Anthony got up and went to the bathroom, and I wrote on his desk, "Anthony was here," on his desk, and he came back and he saw it, and then we started sort of verbally sparring, and anyways, and then the day after that, I think it started raining, and we had a physical education class, and so since it was raining, we had to sit in the gym, and we just kind of sit in there and watch the girls do gymnastics and stuff, and it was like 3 days, and we ended up sitting and talking for 3 days, every day for an hour, and then my mom told me that at that time, she reminded me that I came home and I said, "Mom, for the first time in my life, I found someone I can really talk to." And that was Anthony, and we were friends, and we became very, kind of inseparable as friends. And a few years after that, I started playing the bass, and I joined this rock band. And Anthony used to always introduce the band. He'd come out, the band was called Anthem, and he'd come out and say, "The moms call him crazy, the girls call him all the time, but I call him like I see him, and I call him Anthem." And then what happened was Anthony went one night to see Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, and he was, it was his first exposure to hip-hop, and, those were the early days of hip-hop, and he was just totally blown away, and had always wanted to be a performer. He acted and stuff, and he just started writing these raps, and I was like, well, kick some funky jams for you, and then next thing you know, we had a song, and Hillel and Jack, who both played in the band Anthem with me, we got together and played some funk music, and Anthony, our version of it, which was really kind of over the top and with a very aggressive energy to it, and that was our first song, and it was called Out in LA, and we played a show and played one song, and next thing you know, people were offering us record deals, and that was 20 years ago.
Do you believe, back then, that you would be here today, like when you would look forward?
I had no idea what would come, I had vague visions of what my life would be later on, but never, I just wanted to be good, I wanted to be good, and I remember thinking that the greatest thing that could ever happen would be just to be able to pay my rent and to eat from just playing music, And I always pictured us playing. There was this place in L.A. called Perkins Palace, just outside in Pasadena, and it was like a 1,500, 2,000-seater, and I would always see bands there that came, from England or whatever to play there. And I always thought, if I could just get to the point where we could, play Perkins Palace, that would be the greatest thing. That would be, I would feel like I was set. Like, that would be as high as I would ever need. I don't need any extravagant rock star lifestyle. But we ended up, for the last 10 years, we've been, playing arenas around the world, so that changed, I never expected this.
So, how do you guys do it? I mean, how did you do it to keep together for so long? So strong. I mean, I know you guys have been through a lot, but tell me the secret.
Well, there is no real secret to it. I mean, I think that everyone would have a different take on what that is, but I think more than anything, it's just each time a situation presents itself, we make a decision to continue on as a band, you know. Yeah.
So what's next? I mean, what from here?
Well, right now we're just like we're finishing up our touring. We've been touring on By the Way for 18 months, and we're just finishing up the cycle of that. We have about 4 more weeks of touring left, and then we're done. We're putting out a greatest hits record in November, which we've been, we just did a recording session, recorded about 17 new songs, 2 of which are going to go on that record, and then what's next after that, I don't know.
So, can I ask you a really stupid, I guess, goofy question? You guys are all, on stage with no tops on, and you look awfully great. How do you guys stay fit?
Well, that's very nice of you to say. I don't know. We all do different things, and I go in and out of being pretty serious about taking care of my body. But we all try to eat right and sleep right and take care of ourselves. Various types of exercise, Yeah.
Another thing, I know you guys are now, pretty much all of you guys are in recovery.
No.
No?
No.
Oh.
You mean like in terms of drug addiction?
Yeah.
Well, I can't really speak for the other guys. You'd have to. I don't. For myself, I stopped doing drugs about just over 10 years ago. But I'm not, a member of any. I've never been a member of any recovery program or anything. And I'll still, smoke the occasional joint or something. But for me, I just basically, I'm a father, and when my daughter was first born, and for the first few years I was still doing drugs, and I realized that I just wanted to be on the same page with her all the time, and that was really important for me. Whether I was with her or whether I was on the other side of the world, it was important for me to be there and to be clear for her all the time. And then I realized that when I stopped doing drugs, that there was a whole other world for me that I had never explored, inside of myself and everywhere. There was, a lot to be gained that was just as adventurous and exciting as doing drugs had been for me in the time when I did them, just by dealing with things on the natch, just really being clear about the decisions that I was making and what I was choosing to do with my life, and getting to know people for real and really who they are, and more than anything, getting to know myself and who I am,
So I guess if people, assume that the rock star life is all drugs and rock and roll, it's, do you think that you don't need it? Or
need drugs? I don't think anyone needs drugs, no. No, I think that, basically, I have no problem with drugs. I'm not like some just say no drug guy. I just feel like, I know that anything that you could get from doing drugs, any sort of mind-opening experience or state of euphoria or inhibition or whatever, you can get other ways, There are other ways, like, through spiritual pursuits that are, just as intense, wild,
Before we wrap up, just tell me what your inspirations are to create music.
Everything. I probably my biggest inspiration is just to live life in a way that I find meaningful and to be giving with who I am. We've been touring for a long time. It's like, we don't need to do this. You know what I mean? We all have more money than we need. We all, we don't need to be doing this, but every night we go out on stage and a lot of people come, and I can feel every night that they come because there's a void in their hearts that they want filled in a certain way, that they want to be rocked, And so, it makes me feel a sense of meaning in my life to do it. And I also, it's like I just treasure the tradition and the history of what I do and the craft of what I do, and I just always want to get better at it and be as good as I can.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I was just...
Okay.
This is Tom, the phone lady's on the air with us.
Oh, okay.